Welcome back to Startup Life Studio. We're now getting into question 2 of the top 100 questions founders ask. How do I actually validate my startup idea? We're going over the essential tools and techniques that will move your idea from concept to confirmed potential. It's one thing to think you have a great idea. It's another entirely to know you do, based on real-world feedback. And that's where validation comes in. It's not just about getting a pat on the back. It's about gathering concrete evidence that your idea has legs. The 3 most powerful methods for this are surveys, interviews, and testing a prototype or minimum viable product, an MVP. Let's break them down. 1. Surveys. Gathering broad insights. Surveys are fantastic for casting a wide net and gathering quantitative data. They allow you to reach a larger audience and get a sense of general trends, preferences, and pain points related to your idea. Think of surveys as your initial pulse check. You can use free tools like Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, or Typeform to create questionnaires. When designing your survey, focus on clarity and brevity. Ask specific questions that aim to validate your core assumptions. For example, how often do you encounter the problem your idea solves? On a scale of 1 to 5, how frustrating is this problem? Would you be interested in a solution that briefly describe your solution's core benefit? What features would be most valuable to you in such a solution? Remember to ask demographic questions too, like age range, occupation, or location. This helps you understand who's experiencing the problem and if they align with your target market. Distribute your surveys through social media, email lists, or relevant online communities. The goal here is to get a broad overview and identify common themes that either support or challenge your initial hypotheses. 2. Interviews. Deep dive into user needs. While surveys give you breadth, interviews give you depth. This is where you get to sit down, virtually or in person, with your potential customers and truly understand their perspectives, motivations, and frustrations. Think of it as detective work, where you're digging for rich, qualitative insights. For interviews, aim for 10 to 20 potential users, not friends and family who might just tell you what you want to hear. Prepare a set of open-ended questions that encourage storytelling rather than yes/no answers. Avoid leading questions. Instead of, wouldn't you love a tool that does X? Ask, tell me about a time when you encountered the problem. How do you currently deal with the problem? What are the challenges with your current approach? If you had a magic wand, what would your ideal solution look like? What would prevent you from using a solution like your idea? Listen more than you talk. Pay attention to their tone, their body language, and the words they choose. You're not trying to sell them your idea. You're trying to understand their world. These insights are invaluable for refining your problem definition and shaping your solution to truly meet their needs. 3. Testing a prototype or minimum viable product, MVP. Proving demand. Finally, we come to the ultimate test. Building and testing a prototype or a minimum viable product, an MVP. This is where you move from talking about your idea to actually putting a bare-bones version of it into the hands of real users. An MVP is the simplest version of your product that delivers core value. It's about learning as quickly and cheaply as possible. A prototype could be anything from a simple sketch, a clickable wireframe, a landing page with a sign-up form, or a basic functional app. The key is that it allows users to interact with your core concept and for you to observe their behavior and gather direct feedback. For example, if you're building an app, create a clickable mock-up in Figma or Adobe XD and have users navigate through it. If it's a service, offer a very limited version of the service to a few initial customers and collect their feedback meticulously. If it's a physical product, a 3D printed model, or even a cardboard cutout can serve as a prototype for initial user interaction. The goal here isn't perfection, it's validation. You're looking for evidence that people will use your solution, that it truly solves their problem, and ideally, that they'd be willing to pay for it. Be prepared to iterate heavily based on this feedback. This testing phase is crucial for understanding user experience, identifying bugs, and confirming true market demand before a full-scale launch. Wrapping up, the validation imperative. So, to recap, validate your startup idea through surveys for broad insights, interviews for deep understanding, and by testing a prototype or MVP to confirm actual user behavior and demand. This isn't just a checklist, it's a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation. Validation isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process throughout your startup journey. The more you validate, the more confident you'll be that you're building something people truly want and need. That's all the time we have for Startup Life Studio on our discussion of question 2 of the top 100 questions founders ask. I hope this segment empowers you to critically evaluate your own ideas. You can learn more by subscribing to our A to Z courses at startuplife.studio. That's startuplife.studio. Until then, keep innovating and keep pursuing those truly valuable ideas.